The Titleist Pro V1 and the Taylormade TP5 are the most popular golf balls on tour, and they're arguably the best-selling golf balls on the market. But which one is actually the best golf ball? Or is the more important question, which one's best for you? In today's video, I'm going to rip the cover off both of these golf balls, hit as many as I can, gather as much data as I can, so you can make an informed decision. Let's get into it. Now this test is going to include all of my normal data points. I'm going to hit 20 shots with 4 different clubs with each golf ball. That should give me enough data to see the difference between these two golf balls and to determine which one is the best. But in this video, I'm going to go beyond what I normally do for my golf tests. I'm not just going to data gather in the simulator. I'm going to hit some putts, I'm going to hit some chips, I'm going to hit some pitch shots out on a real green to see exactly what these golf balls are like greenside, because they both claim to be these incredible golf balls around the green. These two golf balls are some of the most expensive golf balls on the market. I'm going to be honest, I'm not expecting to see a massive performance difference between the two, because at the end of the day, they're both claiming to be long off the tee, amazing around the green, with a lot of control with irons. But they're two different balls made in two different ways. The Pro V1 has 4 layers to it compared to the TP5, which has 5 layers to it. There has to be some sort of performance difference. And I'm going to hit enough golf balls today to find out. I'm going to hit both golf balls with a lob wedge, and I'm going to swing this at 50 miles an hour, which is basically a pitch shot for me. I'm going to hit the pitching wedge at 77 miles an hour. I'm going to hit the 7-iron at 87 miles an hour. These are basically full swings. And then finally, I'm going to hit the driver at 100 miles an hour. We're going to go through the whole bag to see how these golf balls perform. Right, before I show you guys what these golf balls were like around the green, let's go through the simulator results. As you know, I've hit 160 shots for this test, so we've got a good amount of data to delve into. We're going to start with the lob wedge results, and I focused on 4 key data points for these results. We've got carry, ball speed, spin, and descent angle. I felt like these were all important metrics when you're comparing golf balls. Here are all of the lob wedge results, and quite frankly, there's a clear winner with this club. The TP5 was actually the winner across all 4 of the metrics we looked at. There's more carry, there's more ball speed, there's more spin, and there's a steeper descent angle. So basically, the TP5 is flying further, and it's got more control when it lands. There's not a huge amount to pick between the two golf balls there with the lob wedge, but it is clear that the TP5 was better across all of the things that we looked at. Moving on to the pitching wedge, and the winner was less clear. Here are the results for the pitching wedge, and like I said, it's not very clear which one is the winner. We've got the Pro V1 winning in carry and descent, but the TP5 winning with ball speed and spin. I'd probably give the edge to the Pro V1 here though. The spin isn't too far off, and when you couple that with a steeper descent angle, the stopping power of the golf ball is basically the same. And when you consider that the Pro V1 is flying further in the air, well, who doesn't like more carry? So yeah, a win for the Pro V1, but a very narrow win, if you ask me. When it comes to the 7-iron, there's hardly anything to pick between these two golf balls. You could argue that the TP5 is winning because it's ahead in 3 of the categories that we looked at. But with everything being so tight, I could probably do this test over again, and the Pro V1 could come out narrowly winning. So a tied ball game, if you ask me. Now, when it comes to the driver, there is a clear winner. Albeit a narrow winner, it's still clear. The TP5 actually comes out on top for all of the categories that we looked at. Albeit narrowly, it's still ahead in all categories. I do find it interesting that the TP5 was the best golf ball with the lob wedge and with the driver. Not just better, but better at everything that I looked at. It must be quite difficult to build a ball with 5 layers, but when you do it successfully, like Taylormade have, it can give you great results with a lob wedge and driver. It must have taken a lot of research and a lot of testing to end up with this type of golf ball. Normally with golf balls, you'll find one that is great around the green, but maybe a little bit shorter off the tee, or a ball that's fantastic off the tee, but can't stop on a green. If we're honest, both balls are great with any club. But for me, the TP5 is just that little bit better. Now, enough with the simulator data. How did these golf balls perform around the green, and how did they feel? Now, the first thing I did when I got to the short game area at Spalding Golf Club was hit some pitch shots. I say pitch shots, they were basically long chip shots. I was 30 yards away from the pin. The most noticeable difference between the two golf balls with this shot was the height that they were flying. It was clear to see that the Pro V1 was flying lower than the TP5. Now, I don't claim to be this amazing ball striker, I'm just an average golfer, but even for me, the height difference was easy to see. The Pro V1 must have been flying about a yard or a yard and a half lower than the Taylormade TP5. How the two balls reacted once they hit the green was very similar. The difference in spin that we saw with the simulator results didn't really show, or it was very negligible. After hitting some pitch shots, I moved on to hitting some chip shots. With these, I placed myself just off the green, basically some bump and run type shots. I'll be honest with you, if I closed my eyes and hit these shots, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between these two golf balls. The feel and the performance was basically exactly the same. I know we're not hitting the golf ball very hard here, so we wouldn't necessarily notice any differences with any golf ball, especially considering that both of these golf balls are claiming to be soft and spinny with these types of shots. I was determined to find a difference between the golf balls though, so I moved on to hitting some putts. And it's with putting that I started to feel a difference between the two balls. I started with 6-foot putts and I didn't feel a difference between them at all with such a short putt. We're gonna have to ignore the fact that the Taylormade made 3 putts and all 3 putts for the Pro V1 lipped out. That had to have been just a coincidence. I couldn't feel a difference at 6 foot, so I moved on to 20-foot putts. I could just about start to tell the difference between them. Obviously, we're hitting a slightly harder putt now, so the golf ball's compressing that a little bit more. I've got a metal face on my putter as well. And when you've got a metal face on your putter, any difference in feel is true and accurate. With that said though, there wasn't a big enough difference in the field to sort of quibble about. But it was the 50-foot putts where I could really tell the difference between the balls. Now, bearing in mind that both golf balls claim to have this sort of soft feel, the Taylormade TP5 was noticeably harder when I was hitting these longer putts. And it wasn't just that it felt harder, they almost performed harder. Again, I hit a lot more putts from this distance than I'm showing you here, but when I was hitting the Pro V1, it was noticeable how often it would come up short of the pin. And that's because it's got a softer outer layer. It was very interesting taking these golf balls to the practice area. I had a good feeling that the performance difference between the two golf balls wasn't going to be huge. But as similar as these golf balls are performing, there are some very, very subtle differences. So which golf ball is actually better? I think I'm going to annoy a few people here by saying it's horses for courses. Some of you might prefer a lower flighted Pro V1. Some of you might prefer the harder feel of the TP5. But if my life depended on it, I think I'd put the TP5 in the bag. Taylormade have controlled the performance of the golf ball throughout the whole bag. And you could argue that it's outperformed the Pro V1 from top to bottom. And on top of that, the alignment stripe that they finally added to the TP5 is a game changer for putting. But as always, buy a couple of sleeves yourself and give them a go. Take them to your short game area at your golf club and just try them. What I will say is that you're not going to see a massive performance gain between the two. Your feel and your confidence levels with these golf balls are going to be the determining factor. Guys, hopefully you've enjoyed that video. It's another grueling golf ball test on the channel. I do a lot of these, and to be honest with you, I've got a few more golf ball tests planned for December. So if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and I'll see you next week for another video.